Devin, it's great seeing you, man. I'm trying to remember. Did I see you and your brother and your dad at JUNO Awards, Edmonton? It was at I can't remember what party it was, but and I think we did the red carpet too.
We did the red carpet. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Edmonton's cold, man. How many times have you ever gone down there? Like at that time of the year, I was freezing there, and I had one of the big expensive coats, and I stepped out, and I was just like, "No, man, this like this ain't Kansas anymore." It was like this ain't Toronto anymore.
Yeah, no, they get it hard out there, but people are tough, man. It doesn't shake them at all.
No, it
I
doesn't, man.
admire them.
But like I said, it was cold, and I'm trying to remember too. Didn't I introduce you at a show once?
Uh, Maybe, yeah, I think
I
so.
was trying to think if I introduced you at Toronto. Um oh God, what is that place called again? And it's driving me crazy. The outside area over by the Eaton Center.
Young
Um,
Dundas Square?
yeah, Young Dundas Square.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my God,
Yeah,
yeah, good memory, man.
I couldn't even remember Young Dundas Square. I
Well,
knew
not
I
that
did.
part.
Yeah, yeah, because they
Yeah,
had
yeah,
the summer events going on, and I got a chance to introduce you.
that's right. Yeah, yeah, the summers. They had like a concert series down there.
Yeah. Man, talk about 6 degrees of separation, if you want to put it
Yeah,
that way.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we get a chance once again to get because I think when we spoke for an interview, it was over the phone. So I'm glad we're getting the chance to do this as a Zoom, man. And I gotta say, before we get into that album, I'm gonna say something right off the top. Refreshing, love the sound, love everything about it. This is an album to me that you could release 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, whatever. It just works with every generation, man. Congratulations on that.
Thank you, Rudy. That's a high compliment. It's definitely something we aim for to kind of be, you know, span rather all the eras musically as much as we can.
And you do that well. But man, did you even know that you had first musical talent and a voice? Because you know how it is, man. When it runs in the family, everybody expects it. It doesn't always happen, but it definitely happened this time around with you.
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky, obviously, with my upbringing, but I did have to work at it. I took a lot of lessons, played in band, like symphonic band. I played horns. I went to York University for music as well.
Yeah.
So I had to hone some of those skills. They didn't come super naturally to me, but yeah, I've obviously been surrounded by big influence, and yeah, people have always been nice. I don't know, the expectations aren't that high. I mean, a little for sure, but people are very nice about it, and we've got a lot of great crossover fans from them, from Blue Rodeo and stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
no, I wouldn't just assume Blue Rodeo because, again, it's not just growing up with a legacy. It's the fact of all these people that you're meeting growing up where, not people would normally get to run into.
yeah,
Were meeting those people, were those influences on you in how you told your stories through music and just the music style that you have? Because, like I said, it's very refreshing.
yeah, definitely. Being surrounded by musicians in general growing up was a big thing, and you're exposed to all sorts of different styles and types, and that was very helpful for me in sort of forming our sound. And then just other pieces of advice. I remember when Blue Rodeo had a horn section, Richard Underhill was the lead, and he
Yeah.
really convinced me to go to university for music. It was something that obviously I was interested in, but he was like, "You should do this. This will be good for you." And so, there's lots of stuff like that that happened in my upbringing that got me to where I am today.
Now, I can go with the musician part because I think that's what we've gone into, but I need to know vocally though, man. Where did that start to really develop? Because, like I said, man, it's such a great natural tone that you have.
Oh, thank you. I started singing and writing in university when I was at York, doing in the jazz program. Started
Mhm.
with like blues and stuff, and then a lot of it came
Yeah.
from yeah, a lot of it came from playing. After university, I played weeklies and regular gigs around Toronto, and you kind of develop it by doing it, practicing and performing. And it took a while. I'm sure I was very pitchy at the start, but yeah, I'm just working at it, and I try to sing every day. Singing the same song again and again at home is a good way to do it for me. and you just get there eventually.
Yeah, you definitely did do that, man. Story wise, though, what do you like to tell through your music?
I like to tell from the third person. I like to take on the voice of a character, either that I've kind of conceived or is an amalgamation of different people that I know or people that I've met. And I like to tell stories from that perspective. Randy Newman is probably one of my biggest influences in that sense. That's a big thing about how he writes, and I always admired that. And strive to kind of get the voice right of the person that you're sort of portraying, and it opens up what you can test, what you can tell story wise, because you're not really, you're not confined to things that you've experienced or done or know. You can tell other people's stories, and that's something that I really like to do in my music.
Now, I just want to make sure we're talking to Randy Newman of "You Got a Friend in Me."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He had lots of records in the
Yeah,
70s and stuff like that, and most people would know a lot of his songs because they were covered. You Can Leave Your Hat On was a big one with Joe Cocker, and uh, yeah. Anyway, there's lots before the movie days. Although I like the movie days as well.
same here. And just so you know, I interviewed him once.
Did you?
And I did. And as we're doing this interview, I'm going to see if I can find the picture and pop it up in this interview. And I got a chance to sing with him. You Got a Friend in Me. We did it like two parts. And when I was working in radio, we aired the whole thing. So I still have it somewhere.
Wow, you got me real jealous there, Rudy. Let me tell you what.
Oh, and you know what? That's one of the things I love about this industry. What has it been like for you being part of this? Because, like I said, the thing that I enjoy most is, in a little way, we're past this velvet rope, if you know what I mean, where most people don't get a chance to see certain things or experience certain things. What has been the most fun part about living the life that you have? Because, like I said, having people coming over to your place or your family's place, and there are people that most people would never get a chance to see unless they bought a ticket to see them performing, or in a studio and you've got somebody where you're sitting there going, man, I'm working with like that crazy stuff.
Yeah, it was definitely, there's a lot of kind of cool stuff growing up. And one of the great things about the Canadian music industry is that while it's very large in many ways, it's also very small in other ways. And so everybody has some degree of separation to each other, which is really
Yeah.
cool. And there's a lot of friendships and a lot of really nice, supportive people. And we were sort of surrounded by that growing up, and even still. Um, and I really like that about the Canadian music industry. It
Yeah.
doesn't seem too spread out and sort of panned across the world. It's kind of all in it together in a way. And the Junos is a great example of that. You get to
Yeah.
hang out with people that you don't cross over necessarily playing shows, because there's genre separations and stuff like that. And then when you're doing it, you realize we're all in the same boat, and that's a really cool experience. And then growing up, we had some pretty cool things. I remember coming home from high school one time, and my dad was in the living room with Michael Hollett from formerly Now Magazine, and
Yeah. Yeah.
there was
Yeah.
another guy sitting there, and they were playing guitar, and I was like a teenager, so I was like, "Hey," and I go to the basement and watch some TV, and my brother's bouncing off the walls. So what is your problem, Sam? He's like, "Dude, that's Alex Lifeson upstairs playing guitar." It's like, "Oh, that's cool."
You could
And then we went
do
up.
you
Then we
not
went upstairs.
recognize him?
I just didn't look. I was like a teenager, you're just like angry all the time. So then we went up. Then we went upstairs, and they played and chatted, and that was pretty cool. That was one of the ones that I really remember, because I was just felt like such a punk walking by, being like, "Hey."
Oh my God, one of the most recognized faces ever, man.
I know.
I love that. And by the way, you were talking about the Junos and interacting with people. You interact sometimes in a different way, because I think you get the body check then when you're playing hockey with them. Do you get the body check when you're playing the Juno Cup?
Well, we play against the pros, so we
Yeah.
all the musicians play on the same team, so we get body checked, I think, more than. But no, hockey is a really cool thing. We have a musician skate in Toronto, and there's kind of one guy in every, or girl in every band that plays. So you get the bass player from this band, the drummer from this band, the guitar player from this band. So there's a sort of a hockey music community all across Canada, really. I live
Wow.
in Toronto, so mine is connected to that. And the Juno Cup was always a great sort of bringing together of that, but it happens all year round, and that's a really really cool thing, just to have a shared interest that's outside of music as well,
I'm
and
trying to remember.
exercise.
Did you guys win this year?
Yes,
Oh, move my
that never
microphone.
lasts. That never lasts. They get real angry and come back real strong. So
And we're in St. John for 2024. So
Halifax,
Halifax, sorry,
yeah,
thank
yeah.
you. So we're in Halifax next the next one. So it's gonna be interesting to see if if they're gonna bring their game on for this. So but when we're talking bringing up game, we're talking about your music, man, and we're talking about this new album that you have. So let's make this part official, man. What's the name of the new album, and how does it represent you in this part of your career?
It's called Dear Jane, and it's sort of a collection of stories again, my within my style. Um, this record I have had most of for a while, like since before the pandemic, so five
It was a
plus years.
Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah. So a lot of it we've been playing for a long time and sitting on. So there's this feeling of relief getting it out for sure. Um, and we added to it as well. The title track "Dear Jane" was recorded just about 6 or 7 months ago. So it spans a long time, uh, and bringing it together was sort of a challenge to make it sound cohesive. And also, it spans this long time that feels like a very short time because we were locked at home, and pandemic sort of was a truncated amount of time, even though it was spread out over a long period. It felt sort of short, I guess, in a weird way, long and short. Like it feels like, well, the before time doesn't feel that long ago. So it's been really nice to get it out there. A lot of the songs, again, we've been playing for a long time, and we've been playing the new ones that we haven't been playing and fitting it all together. And people are receptive, and it's been going good. It feels good to get it out and share it with the world.
If the pandemic didn't happen, would you have released it earlier? And in some ways, did the pandemic help make it better because then you had more time to focus, look at things, and tweak here and there?
Yes, I would have put it out before. For us, we need to tour to get the record out there and play. So I felt that it wasn't right to put it out when we were all stuck at home.
Of
Um,
course.
but yes, it did actually. We were able to kind of go back and tweak and then add to it as well with newer songs, and then sort of try to make it all one like album sound as opposed to sort of a piecemeal of different sessions and stuff like that. And that did help actually. Yeah, I think that I was able to sort of tweak some things that were probably driving me mental or the break. So that's good.
I just want to make sure the album was, or the songs were recorded before the pandemic, correct?
Some
Some.
like
Okay. Did you
probably
record? Did you record any during the pandemic?
no after the
After? Okay.
yeah. That's
Because the
well,
weird
like last year, I guess, or early this year.
because I was going to ask, because one of the things that I got a kick out of how creative people were being recording their albums during the pandemic. One, Amazon became very famous. Two, everybody's closet became their sound booth to record. And three, the invention of Zoom was phenomenal.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, everything's changed as a result. People can record all from their house and bounce tracks around and add to it. As you can see, I'm not very tech savvy, but it was nice to be in the studio again, as opposed to all kind of separated together, like as a group. But yeah, no, I think there's a lot of great things for music came out of it, besides not being able to play for 3 years.
Yeah, no, it was tough, but I'll tell you something, man. I think a lot of us came out better on this because, like I said, so many musicians I spoke with, they said I would never have thought of doing this or done that or whatever if the pandemic didn't happen. So I think it sort of brought out a creativity in them that they didn't realize that they had. But with you, though, my friend, Dear Jane, what is that song specifically about? What's the story about?
So uh, what felt very uninspired during the pandemic. I realized that human interaction was kind of where I draw most of my inspiration and
Yeah.
not the walls of my apartment. But so I watched a lot of television and just sat at home. And one of the shows I watched was MASH. And in that show, there is there is sort of a reoccurring theme about these Dear John and Dear Jane letters, which are
Yes.
letters from the home front sent to the front, telling that their spouse who's at home is breaking up with a service member while they're serving overseas. So the song is a cheery little number about that.
I love that, man. What about tour wise? What's going to happen right now since we're going into the holiday season? Any chance you're going to do something before 2023 ends, or are you going to wait until 2024?
We've been doing a couple Ontario shows, Toronto and Ottawa. We have Hamilton and Peterborough left, and then we'll be doing various, Christmas, New Year's things, and then in the new year we'll be going west. We're just working on that right now.
Any chance that you guys are going to record, or have you already recorded a holiday song or Christmas song?
Next year.
I
love Christmas music. I haven't, you have to get on it really early, right? But
yeah,
I have a few ideas, and we'll see. I'm not sure I'm going to write. I don't think I'm going to write a Christmas song myself, but I'd like to record a couple for next year, because I'm already in the spirit, and it's November.
As we speak, the radio stations have officially started running all Christmas songs. So
I heard that in the grocery store the other day. It's on.
Yeah, it's definitely on. I'm just trying to duck Mariah Carey's. I'm just like, no.
Not a chance you're going to be able to do that, Rudy.
Tell me something, man. Growing up, what would you say was your favorite either Christmas moment or Christmas present? What was your favorite?
Christmas present? Oh.
Yeah, growing up.
I'm not sure I have like a specific moment like where I got something that I really pined over. But we would have everybody, my parents would host everybody at our house, and we were about 20 plus. So most of my memories are from gathering all together. And it's funny, people always ask us, was there singing? Like, was there music? Did you guys sing on Christmas all together around the dining room table? And I always say, well, almost all of my family is in film and television. My dad is the only one that's in music. So no, most of what we did was talk about movies, and my mom's an actress, and her sister works in locations, and her other sisters in finance, film finance, and producers and stuff. So I think that people's vision of our Christmas is a little different than what it actually was.
But
we've done for years. We've done a Christmas country classic show at the Horseshoe. Unfortunately, we're not doing it this year, but we will be doing it again for the food bank, and that is my new favorite memory of the Christmas time. We have my dad's band as the host, and my brother and I, and we have guests, and we all play Christmas and country Christmas songs, and it's a great time. Unfortunately, as I said, we're not doing it this year, but we'll be back. So that's my adult favorite memory now.
There we go. I remember years ago, I introduced your dad at a show. It was a New Year's Eve show. I can't remember where, but I do remember it was outside, and of all days, it was raining.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and oh man, it was raining and it was cold, but he still came. It wasn't Blue Rodeo, it was him performing.
Oh yeah, it
was yeah, it was a solo band, but it was still, for me, it was still kind of cool going, I'm introducing Jim. This is so cool.
I remember when we were kids, Blue Rodeo did Niagara Falls on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, but it was Niagara Falls though. It was somewhere local around.
Yeah. This was a long time ago. This is when we were very young, because we would go, and they'd be freezing on the stage, and we'd just sit in the bus and watch South Park.
If there's one thing I've learned, because I've gone to those shows, I don't go to those shows anymore. I'm not saying, folks, go to the shows because they're great. Just make sure you either have a hotel room already booked, or you make plans on how you're going to get out of there fast, because man, it is hours before you could even get to the roads to get to the highway.
Yeah. Now you got to suffer for the show. outside in December too. Oof.
Yeah.
I'm too soft for that.
Way too soft for that. Look, man, I gotta say this has been a blast. Thank you so much for doing this interview with me. Please say hello to your dad for me also. Like I said, if anything, I will probably see you in Halifax because I'm trying to get myself ready to, book the hotel, book the plane
Yeah, it's
ride for
time,
the
right?
Junos and everything else too. So, before we go, one quick question. What's the best advice your dad ever gave you that maybe you can share with us? And it
I
could
think,
be the industry itself.
yeah, there was, a lot. One of the things that I remember him talking about a lot was about nerves and how, nerves are good. And one of the great things about being nervous before you play is that it's a very, very powerful energy. And you will learn over time, or you can learn to sort of focus that in the right direction. And if you do that, um, you have this sort of powerful energy that you can put onto the stage and into your performance, and it will make you better very quickly. And I remember I've thought about that all the time. And so nerves are good, and you got to hone that energy and put it in the right direction, and you'll be better for it.
Whether it's on the stage or whether it's on the ice. I love that advice, man. I can hold.
Anywhere, yeah, true.
There you go. Exactly. Man, thanks so much. Look, have a great holiday. Like I said, say hello to your dad for me too. And I'll definitely be seeing you in 2024, man. Thanks again.
Thanks, Rudy. Cheers, buddy.